Welcome to The Drive with your automotive experts and hosts, Lauren and Karl Brauer. Each week we deliver the latest breaking news, vehicle reviews, and inside look at what's happening in the automotive world. Buckle up. It's time to hit the road with The Drive.
This is The Drive with Lauren and Karl, and today we're talking to executives at Bugatti, Lamborghini, plus a look at the history of the Ford Mustang as presented through the highly engaging Mustang Experience, and an expert on tires and tire care from Bridgestone.
That's right, Lauren. This is an exciting show with plenty of premium brands, a very cool Mustang celebration, and valuable tire safety info. Let's get started with an interview at Lamborghini, talking about Lamborghini's growth and global success as the company introduces an all-new model while completing its move into electrification.
Hi, it's Karl Brauer, and I'm talking to Federico Foschini. He is the Chief Marketing and Sales Officer for Lamborghini, and I think the brand has seen a lot of success in recent years. You're introducing several new models in the last couple of years. I'd like to hear from your perspective, what do you see as driving the success of Lamborghini over the last few years?
For sure, you had just mentioned one important point for us is the introduction of new model, always at the edge of the market with technological innovation and performance and driving emotion at the top of the segment. I think that this is what the people are, or the customer and the fan are expecting from us, and is where we are working let's say, hardly in order to surprise and not only to satisfy the expectation of our customer.
What has been the customer reaction from Lamborghini's buyer base to the electrification of the brand? How have they been reacting to that?
I think they react pretty good because at the end of the day, our interpretation of the electrification is a lot about improving driving emotion and performance.
Okay.
So we started with the Revuelto with the launch in 2023, and we called this car that is, let's say, the Halo model of Lamborghini V12, 1015 horsepower. We call it HPAV, High Performance Electrified Vehicle. That is not just an acronym different from PHEV, but is the way that is explaining how we want to use the combination between internal combustion engine and electric engine and power.
Okay.
So for us is more an integration of two words that are giving a better product comparing an only internal combustion engine car. On one side, we have the emotion of the engine sound and of the responsiveness of the engine that is coming from the internal combustion engine. On the other side, we have the opportunity to use electric motor on the front for the four-wheel drive, let's say, traction, but also one rear engine that is improving, let's say, the torque development of the car from low rev until high revs, but also is giving additional opportunity for the driving of our customer, because you can come from a very comfortable and smooth car to a very, let's say, aggressive and very easy to drive but very performing car. So at the end of the day, for us, for sure, the electrification is something that is aimed also to reduce the emission and the CO2, because we need to comply with the legislation of all the 56 market where we are selling our product. But on the other side, it is even more important for us to improve and to enhance, which are the main reason to buy a Lamborghini. Besides the design is performance and driving emotion. And this through, let's say, innovation that is always at the last stage, as we are introducing now with our super sport car. On Revuelto and Temerario, we have a similar concept, but also on the Urus SE, we have an hybrid car that is able to display now 800 horsepower, and also here we have improved the, say, performance and driving fun comparing the predecessor.
Yeah, it really feels like you guys are expanding the range of what the cars can do, that they're not losing any of their performance edge, but they're getting more comfortable and refined as well. And you've got these driver modes that you can now really change the personality of a single car. And I think certainly electrification is expanding that ability too, don't you think?
Yes, I think that what we can do now is to have all the three models that can drive fully electric, so silent and without emission. And this is something that is a use case that we can offer. It's not the use case. Is maybe you want to do it when you are approaching home in the night, when you are leaving from some places. But immediately by turning the command, you can immediately have the roar of the V12 or V8 engine, depending on the model. On the other side, you can have a car that is very, let's say, agile, but very precise in the driving, because this is also the combination also of the, let's say, electric motor and the active torque vectoring that you can have in the front axle when it comes to Temerario and Revuelto.
Yeah.
And this is giving you the impression to drive on a rail while you have a car that is very, very, let's say, powerful. So you can discharge all the power, but in a very easy and precise way.
Great stuff from Lamborghini Chief Sales Officer Federico Foschini. Really impressive. And we'll be right back with more of The Drive with Lauren and Karl. We're back with more of The Drive with Lauren and Karl, and this segment is brought to you by IC Cars, your best source for online car listings when you're looking to buy a new or used car. Now let's listen to Karl talk to Federico Foschini again about some interesting Lamborghini info about how their customer base have changed.
How has marketing changed? How is trying to get the message out about Lamborghini, especially as it's evolving or going into this electrification? Have you found any different approaches to marketing and getting your message across?
I think that the target is exactly to communicate what is the reality, no? Mm-hmm. So I think that if you have a product that is at the level of the one that we are having, we need to try as much as possible to communicate and to be able to demonstrate and to increase the awareness of this kind of, let's say, product that we are having. So we don't have to invent, we have to announce. And this means that we need to put, let's say, customer, fan, and media in the condition to understand in the best way possible what the car is capable to do. For sure, one of the easiest things is to have people, depending media today, but the day before yesterday and the next day, we will have also our dealer and also our customer driving the car, and also new people that want to approach Lamborghini, they should test the car. This is the easiest thing that we can do. But we can also use, let's say, all the tools that are available today on digital and on event side in order to enhance this kind of capability of the car, having a lot of opportunity. Because as I told, if the base is the product and the product is solid as well as the brand, I think that our job is easier in this moment. So, and what is important to communicate is that all what we are doing is strictly connected with our brand DNA. So our brand DNA, when it comes to product, is design, but this is easily recognizable by looking at the car, and is performance and driving engagement. And this thing is not that by doing the electrification step we are compromising or we are doing some trade-off. We are just increasing the opportunity for the customer, but looking always that this is the main reason for having or for buying or for creating a Lamborghini car.
How has your customer changed? I think I heard you mention earlier that you've got one of the younger customer bases and that you're moving down in age, which I think every car company would love to do. What's been the change for the Lamborghini customer over the last 5-10 years?
I think one is a dimension, a quantitative, let's say, change, because with the introduction of the Urus in 2008, we almost doubled the sales and the number of cars that we are selling every year. And the important point was that the Urus, especially in the first phase of his life, so the first generation of Urus, was at a ratio of 80% of new customers to the brand that were not experiencing Lamborghini before for different reasons. Because we were not approaching Lamborghini, because they were not buying super sport car, because maybe they were buying super sport car of other brand, and they were not at the moment maybe attracted, or they were not knowing enough Lamborghini. And while buying an Urus, after they start also to buy other, let's say, product of Lamborghini, because they start to know the brand better, to be inside the brand, to know the product, and after they appreciate this kind of new, let's say, experience. And this is Savasandira, an increasing of the customer base. So the dimension for sure was also the Urus able to attract more women, but also people that, as I told, were scared maybe about super sport cars. So we were also having another kind of let's say, customer that maybe was not, let's say, the typical Lamborghini customer. And I have to say that year on year, we are increasing the number of people. On the other side, we have this kind of, let's say, characteristic that we have always a very, very young customer base. And this is something that I think is linked to the brand, because it's a very aspirational and looking forward brand, but also to the product, because I think that especially in the last year, we were launching a lot of new products that were really, let's say, creating a lot of attention also to customers that wanted to try Lamborghini, and maybe they found their dimension in the Lamborghini portfolio.
Last question. Where's the biggest growth regionally on the planet? Where are you seeing customers come in the strongest compared to a few years ago?
I have to say that in the last year, we were growing almost in all, let's say, country. The biggest growth in general at the moment is in Europe. So Europe is, let's say, the region, I have to say, is not a country, it's the region that is growing more and more consistently. We are also having a big growth also in Japan. That is a market that is very, let's say, in love with the brand, especially since the vintage. But also Korea, for example, is growing every year constantly. But as I told, in the last year, we had a general growth around the world that was always controlled, consistent, and was always managed by the quarter by allocating, let's say, our volume in a homogeneous and well-distributed way. So we never, let's say, exceed the level that we are thinking is the ideal level of each and every market.
Right. You still want it to be a special kind of elite brand.
Yeah. And also because sometimes we need to react also to some macroeconomical or geopolitical situation that are not controlled by us, but we need to face. For example, in 2021, from one day to another, we had to close the Russian market because, so we know the reason why. Yeah. But this was something that we were managing, not, let's say, touching the general target of the company by, let's say, reallocating our, let's say, production and our volume in other market because the space was there. So the opportunity was there. Thank you.
Enrico, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Well, it sounds like Lamborghini is on the fast track for success. And we're going to take a break right now, but we'll be right back with more of The Drive with Lauren and Karl. You're back with The Drive with Lauren and Karl, and this segment is brought to you by Car Coach Reports. That's my YouTube channel where you can hear me talk about breaking car industry news and reviews of the newest models I've driven. Now, we've been hearing from Lamborghini's Chief Marketing and Sales Officer. Now we're going to hear from Paolo Rocchetti, Product Line Director. Let's hear how Lamborghini approached the design and engineering of its newest model.
Hi, it's Karl Brauer, and I'm here talking to Paolo Rocchetti. He is the Product Line Director for the brand new Lamborghini Temerario. Obviously, the Huracán has set a high bar, but I feel like the combination of the hybrid components with the traditional internal combustion engine, and both of them pushed so far, 10,000 RPM out of just the engine before you add in the 3 electric motors.
The hybridization, especially on the Temerario, is particularly focused on not enhancing just the performance, but enhancing the drivability of the car. Yeah. What I was mentioning before, since we have one electric motor in position P1, means connected to the crankshaft, so between the engine and the gearbox, and with that engine we are able to solve any issue of turbo lag. So we are guaranteeing instant razor-sharp responsiveness to the throttle. But then the secret is the front axle, on which we have 2 axial flux machines for each wheel. And at the end of the day, for us, the key point was to offer different kind of driving dynamics. It's just one car. And that's the secret of Temerario compared to also the other hybrid model that we have. Since we have so much power from the V8 turbo, then through the front axle, we are able to offer different souls. Yeah. Of course, in Strada, you will find the perfect cruiser. So a car that could offer the maximum level of comfort and safety for long trips. But of course, a Lamborghini is a Lamborghini in sport mode. And in sport mode, you will find a car that is really rear-wheel drive oriented. And the hybrid front axle is so helping only a little bit to agilize the car. So the car will be really engaging and fun to drive, really playful. And then again, you go for Corsa mode, and the car is changing again. The car will be more neutral. You will have a lot of front torque, torque vectoring in the front, so a lot of torque that is helping the whole process of driving. It's stabilizing the car while you're braking. It's guaranteeing higher level of lateral acceleration through the cornering, and then it's maximizing the traction out of the corner. And at the end of the day, you will have a car that is able to provide you an unbelievable level of confidence while you're lapping. And that's, in our opinion, one of the biggest achievements that we were able to achieve thanks to the hybridization. So offering to our customer the ability to exploit 920 horsepower with a maximum level of confidence on track and also on the road, of course.
Well, and you know, you've got things you're concerned with when you hear about hybridization, like the increased weight that it'll add to a car. But you were able to centralize the battery pack, you know, between the seats and low. So as you mentioned, you lowered the center of gravity and you reduced that lever arm effect because it's centralized in that weight. And then you've got what seems to be a pretty amazing technology coming out in these axial flux motors that are putting out a lot of torque at a very small size and weight. And I feel like that's where the concept of hybridizing supercars that might sound like, uh-oh, we're going to lose something, we're going to lose, you know, nimbleness, and we're going to gain weight, and we're going to have some kind of antiseptic response. I've driven enough of these cars, including the Revolto recently, to realize that it is really supplemental. It doesn't feel like it's taking away from the experience at all. And I think you guys successfully executed on that.
Yeah, it's definitely what you're saying. It's not sacrificing anything. It's enhancing the driving experience. I mean, on one hand, definitely, as you were saying, the position of the battery, the fact that we have a lower center of gravity is helping a lot to avoid to perceive the weight. But on the other hand, the way in which we have combined the contribution on any single powertrain that we have is what makes the driving of a Temerario something unique. Yeah. Because at low revs, you have the instantaneous responsiveness of the electric motors that, by the way, an axial flux machine is able to provide 300 Newton meter at 0 revs. So basically, this is covering any issue of turbo lag. Right. And that's why then we opt even for a simpler technology for what concerns the turbine, since they are the monoscroll turbine, but with one of the widest diameter in the market. So they're offering so much thrust from 2,000 to 7,000. But then usually, you know, when a turbo engine around 7,000 is running out of breath. In this case, thanks to the job that we have done for the 10,000 RPM, the engine is still growing and growing and growing until 10,000. So you feel this feeling of acceleration that is typical of an aspirated engine. So we were able really to offer a unique recipe, something that has never driven before. And this is the secret behind the hybridization. So it let us redefine the driving capabilities of the car. Even the way in which we have shaped the torque curve and the power curve is the secret for the confidence that this car can provide. Since it's always linear,
yes,
the car is always predictable. And this is really the secret of fun to drive from our point of view.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That is really interesting, Karl. If you can afford the $400,000 starting price, give your local Lamborghini dealer a call. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with the CEO of an exotic car brand that, believe it or not, makes the Lamborghini pricing look cheap. We'll see you on the other side of the break at The Drive with Lauren and Karl. You're listening to The Drive with Lauren and Karl, where we're about to listen to Karl interview the CEO of Bugatti. Karl met with Christophe Piochon during the Wynn Concours in Las Vegas, where over 70 Bugattis, the largest collection of modern Bugattis ever in one place, gathered to celebrate the ultra-luxury brand's newest model. This was part of a 20-year celebration of the Bugatti Veyron. Let's listen to Bugatti's CEO talk about the last 20 years of hypercar history.
Hi, it's Karl Brauer, and I'm here at the Wynn Concours, where they are celebrating 20 years of the Bugatti Veyron, which is almost hard for me to believe, but they are. And there's the biggest collection of Bugatti Veyrons in like the history of Bugatti in this location. It's crazy. But I'm also lucky enough to be talking to Christophe Piochon, and he is the CEO of Bugatti. And he's in from Strasbourg?
Strasbourg, Molsheim.
Yeah. He's in to enjoy this incredible array of Bugatti vehicles. Tell me first, what does it mean to you to have a 20-year anniversary for a car like the Veyron?
It's a bit crazy for me because I started 23 years ago to work for Bugatti, and times fly. And when I see what we achieved over the last decade, 2 decades, it's unbelievable. Believe me, when you imagine that we have produced within these 20 years about 1,100 cars, and you have here at the Wynn in Las Vegas a concentration of 66 modern Bugatti.
Yeah.
That's a historical largest gathering of modern Bugatti ever.
Yeah, and you were telling me before that the approach for reviving this storied brand was maybe not so obvious to everyone, and that the vision behind it with going with such an extreme vehicle in terms of horsepower and top speed maybe wasn't fully endorsed by everyone. I mean, what was the thinking back then on creating not just a new version of the Bugatti brand, but with this kind of a vehicle backing it?
Yeah, we have to thank one visionary, which was Ferdinand Karl Piech, which was the CEO of VW Group and decided to make the revival of the Bugatti brand. And he had the vision and the idea to create a new niche with the Veyron, with a car able to drive over 400 kilometers per hour for over €1 million or dollar. And that was not existing in that time. I would say that was the first hypercar ever.
Yeah.
And with that, at the beginning, it was not so easy to get some customers because it was new. Nobody knows that.
Yeah.
And with the first deliveries, it came to the circle of friends passionate of high sportly car.
Yeah.
And peu à peu, it came so that we were able to produce about 80 cars a year.
So if you want to buy a Bugatti, what's kind of the process at this point? You're an owner, you're seeing all these cars and you're passionate about them, and there's obviously a lot of growing momentum for this brand.
Yeah.
You want to jump in. What's the process?
So the process is to come closer to our dealers, and then we are starting the discussion with you about the Purchase Act. That means first you are a bit favoritized if you are already owning a Bugatti compared to other one. Okay. So that means that's also what is important for the pre-owned values. And then you sign a contract with that, make a first deposit, which make sure that you are a serious customer. And then we will work with you on your configuration. Okay. That means that you will meet our designer, maybe come directly to Molsheim with our designer to work on the nice configuration of your cars, to make it very personal. And then, let's say 1.5 years later, you could receive.
Okay, so it's about a 1.5 year thing. And that's assuming, like you said, you aren't already sold out, but you've got things sold out for a couple of years now, you said.
We are sold out till 2029.
Wow.
So that means if you started now to order, sorry, but it will be first in 2030.
Okay. Now, you were telling me last night the markets. You're saying that the U.S. is the biggest market with about 40%, did you say?
40% for the modern, for the tourbillon.
Okay.
Which is our future for Bugatti. You know, the first new platform after 20 years.
Yes.
Because a new engine with hybrid technology, 1,800 horsepower. So the future will be brilliant.
Jeez.
And the customers were happy to see this car coming.
Yes.
That means we limited it to 250 units.
Okay.
And we were sold out after 6 months.
And when will the first one be delivered?
It will be beginning of 27.
Okay, so that's when that's coming. And so you've got about 40% of your audience or our market, you said, in the US. You've got about 33%.
33% in Europe. And then the rest distribute between Middle East and Far East.
Well, you gave us some kind of preview of this next vehicle that's coming. What do you see as far as the brand's image and all? I mean, it feels like it's pretty set, but do you see like there's any shift? Or are you going to just keep playing to the brand's strengths? What's your future of Bugatti?
It's amazing what we have reached now over the last 20 years with the brand.
Yeah.
We see each other at the pinnacle of the pyramid of the automobile or hypercar industry.
Yes.
And we will always go more exclusive and not in the volume.
Okay.
That's important. And that's also what we see for our customers, which are important because they want really to keep something very special.
Yes.
And That's what Bugatti should be, because if comparable, it's not Bugatti anymore.
Christophe, congratulations on
Thank you very much.
running this incredible brand, and thank you for your time today talking
Thank
about
you.
it. Really
It was a
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
So if you're wondering how many people can afford a new multi-million-dollar Bugatti, the answer apparently is enough to backlog the order banks until 2030. Crazy, right? But this is the brand that has carved out a very small, unique niche in the global automotive market. And for buyers at that level of money, really isn't an issue at all. Not a common perspective for most of us, but one that exists for enough people to keep Bugatti busy. We'll be right back with more of The Drive with Lauren and Karl right after these messages. This segment's guest is Ted Ryan. He's Archives and Heritage Brand Manager, and he's going to talk to us about the American Icon, a Mustang immersive experience. This is a 4D thrill ride plus so much more. Ted, welcome to the show. Tell us about what you're doing with Ford Mustang, because this is really, really exciting.
It is very exciting, and we were excited to launch it in LA last week. Essentially, we are giving the Mustang the same kind of treatment that Harry Potter's been given, that the Van Gogh has been given, that the Titanic has been given, with these immersive experiences that travel the country. It's divided into a couple different sections. You mentioned the 4D ride. I've got to say, it's narrated by Anthony Mackie. Captain America himself is the one that gives you your command as you go out. The seats move and shake, and you are transported through what feels like a virtual reality game. The other part is there's a great opening film that once again has Anthony Mackie. It's got Jerry Bruckheimer, who brought the Mustang to life as Eleanor and Gone in 60 Seconds. We've got You Can't Talk Cars Without Talking to Jay Leno. Bill Ford and Jim Farley make appearances, as do I, as the Greek chorus to give the Mustang heritage. So, but it's a fun 7-minute video, and the theme is that the Mustang didn't make itself America's icon. The people made the Mustang America's icon. And we went off the premise that it was born in Detroit but raised in LA. And so we talk about Carroll Shelby's role and all the different ways that Mustang has come to life. Then the heart of it is 2 immersive rooms where there's projection mapping going all around you. You see beach scenes, and it takes the Mustang through time. The second room actually has a dark horse Mustang on a turntable, and it looks like it's driving down the Pacific Coast Highway. It's so intense that when we were open the first night, we actually had people who were like, I'm getting a little motion sick. So we had to install chairs and things for people to sit down. So the last section, my favorite, it actually has movie Mustangs. It has Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds. It has a Mustang from the Transformers movie. And my personal favorite, because I'm of a certain age, Mary Tyler Moore's Mustang from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Most people don't know it, but 43% of all the Mustangs sold the first 2 years were sold to women. And Mary Tyler Moore was the perfect example. A spunky news producer gets out of her Mustang and throws her hat in the air.
I remember that. I'm dating myself. But also the Bullet, that's also very famous. Mustang. And of course, you have made Bullet Mustangs over the years in different generations. And then, of course, everybody has a Mustang story. I mean, I personally have Mustangs. We named our daughter Shelby, so we're kind of really into it. But that's why I really wanted to talk to you, Ted, because there's so much with Mustang and its history. Tell us where this is, where people can go to see it, where it's the whole concept behind it, because I think this is a really smart idea to get the next generation to love Mustangs as much as we do.
That is 100% the reason we did it. We worked on it for 2 years, but we know that what the Mustang demographic is, and we know the people that love Mustang, but we wanted to make it appeal for a younger generation. And so we worked with Imagine, the same team that brought you the Bodies exhibit and the Van Gogh immersive and the Titanic. And we said, what can we do? There aren't too many vehicles in Ford's portfolio that could take this treatment. The GT and the Mustang, probably the only 2. What can we do to make the Mustang younger? And they brought us this idea of the immersive. You mentioned Bullet. We have 200 never before seen images from the set of Bullet that are on display. You actually have this little scope that you look through. And we look for ways to bring Mustang alive differently. If you want to know more, you can go to MustangImmersive.com. It's going to open in LA. And then for anybody that's going to be in Miami for F1, we'll be in Miami for F1, and then we're going to take it to Dallas. And these are just the first 3 cities we've announced. I'm hopeful that over the next 5 years, we'll take it to a dozen more cities.
Well, I'm assuming Detroit will be one of them because that is the Motor City. That's where it was born. And across the country, everyone, the Mustang Club of America, the Shelby Club, there's so many enthusiast groups, whether they be the older cars or the late model cars. I mean, How are you getting people there? Are you just promoting it and just letting people know that you can go to the Peterson Museum and see this?
We're promoting it on great stations like yours and getting the word out social media wise. We actually had Anthony Mackie post a teaser video the other day where his punchline was just the 30-second teaser video. He says, "I can't wait till my 16-year-old son asks me to take Marsha," which is what he calls his car, "to the prom." And I'm going to tell him no. So we're spreading the word however we can to bring people in. We're hopeful that it'll come to Atlanta, Detroit, Charlotte, Houston, some of the other Indianapolis, some of the other cities that we're researching. But if you're in the LA area, you've got to make sure to check it out. And thank you for bringing up the Peterson. They were wonderful partners on this project. It's not actually at the Peterson Museum because it's too big. It's a 20,000 square foot standing exhibit with 5 different rooms and a retail store where you can get your exclusive Mustang immersive gear at the end.
Oh, you're going to make me go there because that's one of what's on my bucket list as a Mustang person. Whenever you've had the anniversaries throughout the years, I was just talking to my husband. We were at the 25th birthday anniversary and the 30 and the 40. We brought our daughter Shelby to the 50th. She brought her Mustang. And so as every decade goes by or every event goes by, we try to make sure to be a part of it. But I think it's funny that if you talk to anybody, even if they're not into cars, they all have a Mustang story. My uncle, my brother, my neighbor, I owned one, my dad owned one. And it's interesting to watch the generations change. And it's also interesting to watch, and you're probably seeing this as being in charge of archives and heritage, that the late model Mustangs, that 79 to 83, the Fox body chassis have become huge collectibles.
Amazingly popular. I just did a series on the Fox body because our new Fox body is called, our new Mustang special edition is called the FX, and it's a teal color based off the teal that I have in my Ford Heritage fleet. I've got a Fox body, a teal Fox body, amazingly popular. And we talk about that. The other record scratch moment that we talk about as well is, did you know that the Mustang almost became the Probe? The Probe, the Bright Minds, Bill Ford tells the story, and he tells it so eloquently. He's like, who came up with this? Who wanted to make an ugly front-wheel drive Japanese design car, the Mustang?
That would not work. Yeah.
But we almost did it. But thankfully, calmer heads prevailed, and the Mustang survived and continues to thrive. If you think about it, the Mustang, 61 years old now, but it always attracts younger customers. You get that next generation. And we solicited stories from Mustang Club of America members, and that's where we have the wall that every Mustang tells a story. And so many of them were multi-generational. My dad and I repaired this vintage Mustang. My son literally he has a 5-liter manual transmission. I'm passing it on to my next generation.
Wow, that's amazing. So people want to learn more if they're in the LA area or it's coming to Miami for the F1 Grand Prix or Dallas. Where can we find information? And I'm sure that Ford has this on their social media as well.
We do MustangImmersive.com, and then if you follow the Mustang handle on Instagram, it's been posted there. But the great thing about going to Mustang Immersive, even if you can't make the show, the trailers we've uploaded, the content that we've uploaded, you can see Anthony Mackie B-roll footage. You can get a feel for Mustang, enjoy it from your computer, but it's going to make you want to attend in person.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I'm going to check this out personally, and I suggest you do as well. We'll be right back after this break. All this talk about performance cars, and I think one of the most important things is tires. There's only 4 things that touch the ground, and they're not just black and round. And so we want to bring in Todd Chapman, who's the product manager for Bridgestone Americas, to talk about performance tires and tires that you probably want on your vehicle. Hi, Todd. Thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
So tell us about performance tires. We were just talking about the Temerario. I hope I said that right. I know that Karl had the opportunity to drive it. It was heavy rain, but I think that's where performance tires can be really good, and people don't realize the capabilities of performance tires these days.
Yeah, so performance tires are, as you mentioned, like at the start of the note here, at the end of the day, you have a very small contact patch that's actually hitting the ground. So the tire is the only thing that's touching the ground, and it is the #1 key component to make sure that the vehicle is getting the performance out of it that you'd expect. So when we talk about performance tires, especially with the Temerario, ultimately, that's a vehicle that's a super high performance car, a lot of horsepower. It's meant to be really quick on track, but also really fun in the back roads and just fun all the way around. And so we have a technical partnership with Lamborghini for the development of all of their supercars. So we are the sole supplier for all of the supercars that they are making right now. And in the case of the Temerario, we have an OE tire that's called the Bridgestone Potenza Sport. We offer it in 2 different variants actually on the vehicle. We have a run flat version and a non-run flat version. And then we have a more track focused tire as well. That's called Potenza Race. And that is a tire that is solely developed for that vehicle to get the most lap times that they were looking for, the best lap times that they were looking for, and the best attributes for that version of the car to make sure that it has the best handling characteristics, braking characteristics, and traction that they're looking for.
So obviously you make these for Lamborghini, and I know you make them for other car brands. What if our listeners just drive an Integra or a Civic Type R or a Mustang or anything that's sort of more price friendly, shall we say?
Yeah. And we have quite a few offerings in that space as well within the Bridgestone lineup. I would say our flagship product for really competition use or grassroots motorsports use is Potenza RE71 RS. So it's a very quick tire used for like autocrosses, track days, things like that. It's a really cool tire. It has a lot of grip, performs really well in the segment. If that's not necessarily where you're looking for, but maybe you're just looking for back roads driving, we have a couple of different products that are available there. We have Potenza Sport, much like we talked about for the Lamborghini, we have a fitment with it. We also have just standard road versions or replacement versions that are available for all cars and all sizes in the Potenza Sport lineup as well. And then if you want to go over to our Firestone brand, we also offer the Firehawk Indy 500. That's a little bit more budget-friendly tire. It still gives you a high level of grip and a high level of performance on those summer roads.
I don't think people realize that, that Firestone and Bridgestone are partners. They're together under the same roof. So you can go to the Firestone Auto Centers and you can see these tires. Now, I'm sure some of these performance tires have to be ordered. This is not something that sits on the shelf. So if you want these tires, you should probably plan ahead.
A little bit, yes. I mean, we typically stock these in our distribution centers. So ultimately, if the tire store doesn't have them on hand, which they likely won't, they should be able to get them pretty soon, whether it be maybe a 1-day lead time or a 2-day lead time. If you call ahead, tell them what you're looking for, they can order those tires, bring them in, and get them installed on your vehicle.
And these tires you can drive on the street, and you don't have to worry about they're quiet tires, which is also good. And I know they're very sticky because I have them on a couple of my cars.
Yes. Yeah. The RE71 RS, I mean, it is still a road legal tire. It can be driven on the street. As everything, whenever you're getting into that competition use tire, there are some trade-offs with it. The noise profile might be a little bit louder than you'd say it with some of our other tires that we offer, but it's because it's meant for ultimate grip and ultimate performance.
So whether you're autocrossing, you're doing some high performance driving schools, which a lot of people will buy a BMW or a Porsche or an Audi, and then go out on those schools, because I know even the BMW Club has got the BMW Car Club of America, and they'll go on tracks, and you get an opportunity to test your tires and see the difference, because there is a difference, as I know personally.
That's right.
So that's good. So they can go to Bridgestone America and look at these tires and find out which one is correct.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, on our website, you can find all of the different tires that we offer, especially within the summer performance segment, and find out all the details you're looking for.
All right. Thanks so much, Todd. We appreciate your time. And I'm going to go to Bridgestone because I need tires for the summer.
Thank you.
You've been listening to The Drive, your trusted source for the latest car news, expert reviews, and real insights into the automotive world. Thanks for riding along with us today. You can check out the entire archive of every episode on our YouTube channel, The Drive with Lauren and Karl. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and join the conversation by leaving your comments. We love hearing from you. Until next time, stay safe, enjoy the ride, and we'll see you right back here on The Drive.